Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're focusing our energy on demystifying a process that honestly sounds incredibly bureaucratic, but is actually one of the most vital steps you can take before hiring legal representation. We're going to look at exactly how to check an attorney's bar status in the state of Tennessee. Because here's the reality. An attorney literally holds your future, your finances, and sometimes even your freedom right in their hands. So wondering if your attorney is truly in good standing? Uncovering an attorney's bar status in Tennessee is absolutely crucial. And you know what? It's surprisingly simple. Stay with us to learn everything you need to know to verify that the person fighting for your rights is actually legally authorized to do so. Okay, let's dive right into our roadmap for today. We'll start with the importance of bar status, then search the TBPR directory, and decode those attorney status codes. After that, we'll look at disciplinary actions and examples, explore some additional resources, and finally wrap up with our final takeaways and a quick disclaimer. All right, starting right off with Section 1, the importance of bar status. So the legal profession in Tennessee is subject to some pretty rigorous oversight by the state Supreme Court, and they basically delegate this out to 4 distinct pillars of regulation. First up, we've got the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners, the TBLE. They handle admissions, bar exams, and background checks for the rookies, the new lawyers. Second is the Board of Professional Responsibility, or the BPR. They're the heavy hitters for regulation and discipline. They manage annual registrations, investigate complaints, and actually maintain the public directory we'll be using today. Third is the Appellate Court Clerk, basically the custodian of the official rolls who issues certificates of good standing. And fourth, the CLE Commission, who track all the mandatory continuing legal education. The reason it's so important to know these 4 bodies is that a lawyer can lose their good standing by slipping up with literally any one of them. Moving right along to Section 2, searching the TBPR directory. So how do we actually do this? Well, the Board of Professional Responsibility provides this fantastic free public-facing database right online. To use it, you just navigate to the TBPR website and click on the online attorney directory. From there, you input whatever criteria you happen to know about the lawyer, hit search, and boom, review the generated profile. It's designed to be super user-friendly, but knowing exactly how to query it, that's going to save you a lot of time. And this database is honestly just incredibly flexible. You don't need to know someone's entire life story to find them. If you know their first and last name, you can search that to find their primary registered name and any validated name changes. Only know the city or county? No problem. You can just filter by their primary physical practice location. Now, if you happen to have their specific BPR number, which is basically their unique state-assigned license ID, that'll take you straight to their profile. No guessing required. Oh, and there's even this really clever address list checkbox you can toggle to search for virtual or remote lawyers who might not list a physical office. It's pretty neat. Let's jump right into Section 3, decoding attorney status codes. Okay. When you pull up an attorney's profile, the absolute most important field on that page is their status. The golden ticket, the ultimate goal you want to see here is active. Active status means this attorney is in good standing, they've paid their annual $270 fee, they've hit all their educational requirements, and they are officially legally eligible to practice law in Tennessee. Simply put, if you are hiring someone to represent you in private practice, this is literally the only status you should accept. But if that status says anything else, you need to hit the brakes immediately. Let's break down these restricted codes because they matter. Inactive means they voluntarily stepped away. Maybe they're over 65 and retired or teaching out of state. Regardless, they are strictly prohibited from practicing. Suspended means they are in a non-compliant state, either for messing up some administrative stuff or facing disciplinary orders. Also, completely prohibited. Disbarred means their license has been outright terminated and they can't even apply to get it back for at least 5 years. And then there's permanently disbarred, which is exactly what it sounds like, an irrevocable termination. The core takeaway, any restricted status means that person cannot legally practice private law for you in Tennessee, period. Which brings us nicely to Section 4, disciplinary actions and examples. You know, the directory actually tells you if a suspension is administrative or ethical, which is super helpful. Administrative suspensions happen when a lawyer just drops the ball on their paperwork. It's kind of like forgetting to renew your car registration. They might have forgotten to pay the state privilege tax, missed their continuing education hours, things like that. Ethical disciplinary actions, on the other hand, those are serious adjudicated measures. We're talking mismanaging client money, criminal convictions, or lying to the court. But hear me loud and clear on this. Whether the suspension is just administrative paperwork or a massive ethical breach, that attorney is legally prohibited from practicing until they fix it. Now, what's really wild is how fast a simple administrative failure can snowball into a massive ethical violation. Take the real-world case of attorney Albert Fitzpatrick Officer from the recent disciplinary releases. His license was originally suspended for purely administrative reasons, just paperwork. But he ignored the suspension and went ahead and made several court appearances and engaged in settlement negotiations anyway. Because he practiced law while suspended, he violated the rules against the unauthorized practice of law, which landed him a public censure from the board. And for the absolute most extreme ethical violations, the board has one ultimate enforcement measure: permanent disbarment. We actually see these real-world stakes in cases like Connie Lynn Rajuli out of Williamson County, whose license was irrevocably terminated in July 2026. This kind of publicly visible discipline is exactly why the BPR database is such an amazing consumer protection tool. It gets bad actors out of the profession and makes sure the rest of us actually know about it. Moving right on to Section 5, additional verification and resources. Sometimes you might need actual official documentation. Maybe you're representing a business or dealing with an out-of-state matter. Well, Tennessee uses two totally distinct documents for this. A BPR letter of good standing is issued by the Board of Professional Responsibility, and it specifically details the attorney's ethical and disciplinary history. On the flip side, a certificate of good standing comes from the appellate court clerk. That one just proves the attorney is officially enrolled with the state Supreme Court. Knowing the difference between these two means you'll know exactly which agency to contact so you don't waste your time. Okay, a few quick pro tips to keep in your back pocket. First off, under Tennessee court rules, private reprimands and admonitions remain completely hidden from the public directory. You won't see them. Second, do not ignore administrative suspensions. If you see a lawyer repeatedly suspended for not paying fees or missing classes, that is a massive red flag. I mean, if they can't manage their own basic license, are they really going to manage your complex case properly? Third, if you ever need enterprise-level offline data, the Emily Smith Tennessee Attorneys Directory is a great commercial resource. And finally, a really crucial distinction here. The BPR's job is to discipline bad attorneys. If a lawyer's negligence cost you money, the BPR doesn't get those funds back for you. For financial restitution, you'd actually have to go consult a completely separate legal malpractice lawyer. And finally, Section 6, final takeaways and disclaimer. So what's the big picture here? The crucial point is that checking an attorney's status is this incredible, empowering safeguard, and it honestly only takes a few minutes. Always, always verify that your attorney has an active status before you ever sign a contract or hand over a retainer fee. Leverage that free TBPR directory for real-time data. Look at the timeline of their practice, keep an eye out for any public disciplinary actions, and just empower yourself to make truly informed, secure decisions about who is representing your interests. Now, really quickly, I do need to read our standard mandatory disclaimer. This explainer is intended for informational and educational purposes only. It is not legal advice. If you have personal legal concerns, if you suspect you're the victim of legal malpractice, or if you're just navigating a really complex situation, please seek out professional legal counsel directly. I'll leave you with this one thought today. When you hire an attorney, you are trusting them with an incredibly significant part of your life. Maybe it's your business, your family, or your life savings. An attorney literally holds your future in their hands. So isn't it worth 5 minutes of your time to verify they are fully qualified, ethical, and authorized to protect it? I absolutely encourage you to hop onto the TBPR website today and try searching for an attorney just to see how the whole system works. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, stay curious.